Okay, welcome, guys. Here we are, another stream. And I'm gonna keep plugging away in the basement. I want to get this kid done. I'm done. I'm done with him, and I'm starting to think a little bit ahead about the rigging and skinning of this kid, and what I'm going to do animation-wise. And so I'd like to get the geometry done to the point that I'm happy with it, that I can get it in the game and be able to look at it and not be not be in that state where I don't know what to do with it. And so anyway, that's my goal. I'm going to go and configure the video here. Not liking too much what I'm seeing. I'm zoomed in too much. Let's do that. Walk away. And? Okay, that's a little better. So yeah, so I want to get this kid done. I'm going to try and see what I can do with him. I had a thought. I did the eyebrows last week, and I had a thought about them that made me reconsider what it is that I'm doing. And I think I'm gonna alter my plan. No, not documents. Character FBX, and this is kid FBX. Thanks, dude. Thanks, man. We had a kind of a strange work day today. They didn't want us working at the studio because we were all kind of in celebratory mode and kind of congratulating one another on the release of the game. And so yeah, we kind of had a remote release party, which was a new one on me. I'd never done anything like that before. But it it was a lot of fun. You know, we sat around and talked about the game and read reviews to one another about the game and that kind of thing, and it ended up being kind of an interesting day. That was for sure. But yeah. Anyway, it's out now. It is in the wild, and yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'm not trying to get too hung up on reviews or anything like that. The game is done and over for me, and so I don't really have a need to keep kind of revisiting the stuff. But it sounds like there's some pretty decent feedback, and yeah, some people not enjoying the game and some people enjoying the game. Those things happen. It's it's one of those things that I tell you get hung up on if you start reading the reviews and taking that stuff too seriously. This is one of the reasons that I don't typically post on forums or anything like that, my artwork. I've got a portfolio that I put together and will display my stuff there. But in terms of actually having stuff online where I'm asking for feedback from people and whatnot, it is, I find, far too harsh online, and as a result, I don't enjoy that. It's not something that I like to put myself through, and as a result, I try to avoid that stuff. And so I read a few reviews. I got my daily dose of nasty feedback. and it happens. You got to kind of just move on. Cool, man. Cool, man. I'm glad you're tearing through it. My wife my wife spent the day going through it too. I was like, "You're foolish. This is the game that we've had access to. Like, you didn't have to wait till now to play it, and we could have played it whenever." But she decided the game's out. She's gonna give her shit today, and so she sat in the couch with the Switch and went to town on it, trying to get through it. And I've no doubt she's actually probably doing that right now as well, trying to get her way through it. And so, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's out the gate. It's done for me. This is another kind of an aspect of being a character artist that is puts me a little bit in a unique position. They're not going to patch anything I did. None of the work I did is something that is going to break the game or be something that needs to be revisited. It's artwork, and the artwork is out there, and so it's not something that me personally I'm ever going to have to go back and revisit. Unlike code or even level design, where something might be broken and they've got to go back and release a patch or fix something. Once I'm hands off, I'm hands off. And so on to greener pastures. The game's also, it's a special day because the game is out and other people can play it, but it's also that I've been done with the game for a long time. I've been working on the next project at the studio for a few months, and not working on Scully. And so there's that kind of thing too, where it's in the past for me, and though it's new for other people, it's one of those things that for me it's old school. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting we've got physical copies, and I am definitely excited to get that. It's been a little while since I've had a physical version of a game that I've worked on, with all the digital releases of things and whatnot, and so that's not something that happens all the time anymore. I am unable to tell you what's next. I can't divulge studio secrets, my friend. So, Bobby, how you doing, brother? So one of my former students sent me a little something juicy that I'm no doubt you guys have heard about in the news, which is the Blizzard salary survey. I got my hands on a copy of that. A former student sent it to me. She got it in another Discord server and brought it on over to mine and posted the link. And so I've been going to have a gander at that and see all the juicy tidbits about that, which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. They've got just about everybody under the sun in terms of their position, the job that they have. They made sure they got a little bit of everybody, which is really kind of interesting. And so, yeah, that's a juicy little nugget. I'm trying to find a way of actually ripping it to a file that I can grab, instead of just having the instead of just having the document open to me, because that would be way better. Because then I could actually reshare it without worrying about anybody editing it or taking it down. There we go. And I grabbed it. And so, yeah, so I've got myself a copy of this file now of the salary survey from Blizzard. And as much as I'd like to say, oh my god, it's fucking crazy, and stuff coming out of the woodworks, oh my god, it's all really standard stuff. People are paid salaries for having jobs. You know, there's nothing crazy shocking about it. Which is why I find it so funny that everybody's kind of making a big deal about it. Because it's really not a big deal, at least not to me. They're just salaries. You know, I can see that people that have been there for quite some time make more money than people that haven't been there for quite some time, and that people with more senior jobs make more money than people with junior jobs. Again, shock of all shocks. So yeah, it wasn't really something that I thought incredibly telling about the state of affairs at Blizzard. It all looks pretty standard. People make money. The big thing that everybody was going on about was the annual increase in salary, which I've never found to be an issue at any job that I've had. Usually what happens in the game industry is that you move on. You know, you release a title at a studio, and instead of waiting for an annual increase, you go get a job at another studio for a higher salary. And that seems to be pretty commonplace. And as a result, you know, you tend to see salaries not go up very much at one particular studio. But regardless, the numbers are what the numbers are. Okay, so I wanted to go back to this fella here. I'm going to try and import a file here. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. But I've got some things that I want to do here. I'm going to go back into my tracker file. Tracker, Scott, and textures, tests. I'm not sure that this is going to come in. Okay, yes. So these were the alembic eyebrows that I had made the kid. And the thing that's interesting about them, they did come in as an alembic. I'm going to try and delete that. My hope here, these are all NURB surfaces. So I'm going to try and convert one of these things to a spline, which doesn't seem like it's going to allow me to do that. But what I'd like to do with these things is actually just create splines out of them and convert them to the geometry that would be there. I decided instead of using a transparency texture that I would, try and do something geometry-wise that might work a little bit better. And so we'll see what we can do with these here. Moving on. Yeah, that's not helpful. So I'm wondering if I create a spline, if I can attach these NURBs to the spline. Let's convert that to an editable spline. Attach multiple. And yeah, they're not there. I was really hoping you could do that. It does not appear to be an option. So I'm going to go and delete these things and re-import them again. See if we have another setting that may work instead of bringing them in as NURBs. It does not appear to be so. So let's see what the OBJ is here. I believe I imported nothing. I didn't want to skip. I wanted to rename. Oh, dear God. Those are useless. Those were the... Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Max NURBS curve to spline. There must be a way of doing this. Well, that seems rather troublesome. So what they're telling me to do, bring it in as such. And then convert it to an editable poly. Let's see if editable mesh works. Aha, editable mesh works. Wow, look at them big old puffy things. So converted them all into cylinders, which is not useful. Yeah, it doesn't look like this is actually going to work. And so while I would like to use those things, it will not actually work. Anyway, the goal here was to actually try and create his eyebrows with geometry instead of an alpha texture, which should speed up the rendering in the engine a little bit so that I'm not relying on transparency. Again, removing transparency in favor of geometry. And so I'm going to do that if I can. I don't hate the way those look, but they are just flat color on a forehead. And so I'm going to go see what I can do here with some geometry or some... we'll do this as stuff in ZBrush here. So yeah, Bobby, you were talking to Bray. Yes, I do prefer Max over Painter for AO bakes, and the reason for that is that AO bakes inside of Painter are faked. They're not really accurate, and they're faked in order to speed up the render time. They're faked in order to get a really, really, really fast render. When working on some assets, I find it better to instead work on 3ds Max bakes because they are far more accurate. They take longer to bake, obviously, but they're way more accurate and give me much better shapes, much better end results. For the most part, I use Painter for baking. But there are a few occasions in which Painter is unable to give me the bake that I want. And I'll see if I get a file here that I can open to show you as an example. Because the difference is quite dramatic in terms of the in terms of what you're seeing. It's really night and day. Let's see if I've got a file here that I can open to show this. Okay, new and full screen Painter. Let's go see if I actually did save this anywhere. This would be in Tracker, Gator, Texturing, It does not appear. It does not appear as though those files were saved. Oh, there he is. Yeah, there are some settings that you can change in Painter, absolutely, that'll change how your bake works. But they still are unable to do some things when they bake. And I'll see if I can show this here. So this is Gator, one of my vehicles. Ask not what your country can do for you. So I have two ambient occlusion bakes that I did here. One came from inside of Substance Painter, and one came from 3ds Max. And I'll show you why I bounce back and forth between them. The one that I'm using right now should be from 3ds Max. I'm going to go into my materials here, and it's just the car paint I want to, where's Solo? This one? There we go. So the ambient occlusion here is allowing me to do things like grab the badge from this thing, and to get that shape, fairly accurate. So I'm using the ambient occlusion here to put dirt on this thing. So we're getting dirt kind of in and around that Jeep logo. Now, if I go and look at the ambient occlusion for this thing, you'll see that my ambient occlusion contains really nice representations of those badges. And the only way that this works is by doing it in Max. Painter is not capable of doing this, not on its own. And if I go into the texture set settings here, you can see that the map that I'm using is called Paint Shadows Map, which is going to be in here. Can I export this? No, I cannot. Thickness. Paint Shadows Map. Let's try that here. So it looks like it actually didn't save, which is really bizarre that it's actually here. But if I show you the difference between the ambient occlusion that you're looking at, which again was baked in 3ds Max, and then the one that actually shows up, or the one that you bake inside of Painter, I'm going to replace it with the ambient occlusion here. Grab the paint. Car paint. Okay, so this is the one. Wait, what's this? I think I can actually do this. Let me export this texture. Export resource. Gator texturing, sure. And let me go see if we can actually view these things in Photoshop together so that you can see the difference between them. Because it is night and day in terms of quality. Painter doesn't hold a candle to 3ds Max. You were asking about Marmoset. I don't Marmoset. I hate that software. I think it's garbage. I don't see why anyone would ever want to bake in one software, export, bring it into another software, and then continue texturing. To me, that seems like a foolish pipeline that just slows you down. Since I'm texturing in Painter, I do almost everything in Painter, with the only exception being if I need a crisper, cleaner ambient occlusion map. And since Max's ambient occlusion maps are beautiful, I don't see a reason to go elsewhere looking for them. And so that is why, things look that way. So let me go into Gator and texturing. Okay, so there's ambient occlusion from map. So this is the bake that Painter gave me. And I'm going to open, which should still be in here, Paint Shadows Map, which is the one that was baked in 3ds Max. And so they're side by side. You can see what the difference is in how these two softwares bake. So if you look at these two things, you're going to see like they're night and day. Painter didn't grab half of the detail that Max did. Not only did it not grab half the detail, but Painter very rarely actually hits a value of 0. Right? It very rarely gets to a point where you get black in your ambient occlusion. Whereas Max has no problem hitting black. In fact, if no light hits an area of your mesh, you will get black. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on the fender here, which you can see is in this place right here and right here. And you can see the other issue and why I bother baking in 3ds Max. It's night and day when you see them side by side. And in order to get dirt and dust to appear around this logo, and you can see this isn't the craziest high-res image, right? It's still pretty blurry. But when you look at them side by side, like there is no comparison. The Substance Painter one is just craptacular. Now, for most meshes, what you get out of Painter is good enough to texture things. But you can see how drastically different it is in 3ds Max. And the one thing that's happening here, like where these big black areas are coming from, is mesh occlusion. So what's happening is that Jeep logo that you see there is a different set of geometry that is casting a shadow on this geometry. The Jeep logo, yeah, it's part of my high poly. But even though it's part of my high poly, Painter can't bake it. It's not capable of doing that in a way that yields the results you want. And so, yeah, it's one of those things that if you want really accurate AO maps, and usually, like, the way that you're going to find that this is happening on your model is if you're looking at, I can go up here too, this is the dash, and you can see too, like, I can actually see what the shape of the dash is here. And here it's just, there's nothing else there. And so, yeah, so it's night and day. So you can do that. You can change the occlusion settings when you bake. When you go into your bake settings and you go into ambient occlusion, there is this self-occlusion. And usually it's set to always. And you can only change it to only same mesh or mesh with the same name. And that actually makes it worse, right? If you say only mesh with the same name, then nothing else in your scene is going to render shadowing on this. And so that's why I end up baking this way. It's far more accurate. It gives you incredibly precise shadowing in terms of where things go. And again, like the litmus test of this working is when you actually see it on a material, right? And you end up being able to see, all of that really nice shadowing that I get in and around those logos that doesn't appear if you just do it the Substance Painter way. Now, there are ways that you can do this in Painter. You would be required to, well, frankly, go in and hand paint in and around the letters on, a dirt mask and whatnot. And that does work. It gets the job done, but man, is it not the same as just having a bake that works. And so, on occasion, and I do mean on occasion, this vehicle here is one of 5 vehicles that I've got done, and of those 5 vehicles, only 2 of them needed the 3ds Max ambient occlusion. The black spots on the hood. What black spots on the hood are you talking about? So the black spots on the hood that we were seeing in the ambient occlusion, if I go back to the AO here, and we isolate this material again, so those black spots on the hood are black, and it's because there's geo on top of that, right? So that other piece of geo blocks the light from getting there altogether. That's the occlusion part of ambient occlusion. And this is, it's also worth noting that this is Max's default settings to get this. Whereas, you know, I could even ramp this up and max and get an even higher resolution bake out of this. But it's you know, really, really nice. And you can see it here too, right? All of the, like, the wheel well, all of that's in there. Watch the difference between this one and the ambient occlusion that actually got baked. It's chugging now for a second. No, I'm not done with that project, Christian. Not by a long shot, my friend. I've still got a lot of things to do on it. It just got put on the back shelf until I could get this project for school done. And so, yeah, no, I'm totally going back to it. I got to finish all the vehicles. I've still got all of the enemy vehicles to do. In fact, I'm midway through modeling one of the vehicles. I've got the Nissan that I've been plugging away on. And so, yeah, and so anyway, you can see it's still chugging away here. Because I swapped out the material, it's redoing all of the texturing. But you'll see now that, like, the Jeep logo, like, there's nothing here. Right? This ambient occlusion bake, it didn't pick up anything. Like, I've got, you know, shadowing in and around where the mesh shadows itself, and, you know, this little tunnel gets dark. But no, like, there's nothing from the Jeep logo. There's nothing from any of that stuff. And as a result, like, that same dirt pass that I have, that same dirt layer, is now barely doing anything to the car paint compared to what was there before. And if I go and put the other material back on, again, it's going to chug through here. But you can see, like, how much dirt and stuff now appears on this thing. And so anyway, that's why I do it in 3ds Max. It gives me more accurate results, and this is the case with almost all the bakers inside of Painter. Painter's normal and World normal they're fine, but the curvature, the thickness, the ambient occlusion, they're all kind of not really cheats. They're just doing a simplified version of it that ends up just speeding your workflow up, right? And that's kind of what their goal is to make your life a lot faster. So you can see how much that max dirt map really helps, right? Like, that AO is giving me all kinds of soft stuff in the wheel well, and it's also allowing for the entire underside of the wheel well to get dirty, even though it's made out of the same paint. And so that's why I do that. Okay. Now, let's go put some brows on this guy. So I'm going to do this with, as I mentioned, with Geo. Let's solo his head. So I'm going to do this with creating some Geo. I'm going to create some stuff inside of here. So I'm just going to give him a little bit of a shape here where I want his brows to go. Something of that nature. And then we're going to jump over to fiber mesh and preview. And we'll see what we can do here in terms of... hey, look, Eugene Levy. In terms of getting this stuff to work in a way that will be a little bit more indicative of what I want. So I'm going to bring down the number of fibers quite a bit. And we could probably go up a little bit more than that. Let's double it. I need to tweak the length of the fibers as well. Not quite long enough. Now, in order to get these to be geo that I can actually see, I'm going to take the coverage and crank it up a little bit. It might be overkill. I'm going to go change the width of the tip and the base. Where the hell are you? Scale root 1 and scale the tip. I don't want 1. 0. I'm just gonna make them little triangles here. Okay. Let's go and just tweak the mask a little bit here too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is accept this. And we'll turn off the solo. And we've got, let's rename this while we're here. Browse. And we're going to isolate that and the head. And then we're going to go to our groom brushes, and I'm going to use the Groom Stronger, though I'm going to turn its intensity down. And I'll use symmetry, even though... Hiya, Neil. And I'm going to start shaping these. Kind of go in the right direction. Move them in the right way. Make sure they get down to the end. And I'm going to use the clump. And then we'll just add a little bit of clumping. Doing a little bit of brows right now, Neil. I'm gonna do all of his hair. I want to get this kid friggin' done, and so I did some textured brows last week, and just not happy with them. If I can remove any alpha texturing in what I'm doing, then it'll make me happier. And so by removing the geometry that had his brows on it with the texturing that was his brows and doing geometry, I think I'll be in a better place. I'm on the outside. So I'm going to do a BPR render here so I can see what these things look like. And I think that'll work nicely. Let's go to convert BPO to Geo. So now the hairs are actually little tiny pyramids. And I'm going to export them. And let's see, Cabin in the Woods character OBJ, browse. And I'll do the same process for the hair on his head. Let's go bring these into max and see what we can get out of them. So here's the textured ones that are just crudely drawn. I'm going to delete those. And say File, Import. And we're going to get back out of that folder. In here, character OBJ, browse. Oh, it's funny, that says 91,000 faces. That is not the amount of topology we are looking for here. Jesus, Murphy. Yeah, that went stupid on me. So fun. I'm on the outside. And it's going to be fairly easy to fix some of these things. Okay, let's try the optimizer on this. You got it, brother. Talk to you later. See your true color. 10 would be 9,000. 5 be 4,000. 2.5%. Yeah, that's not going to work for me. I'm going to delete these brows. They're not useful. Let's go in here and undo so that they're cards again. Which I think is going to work better. I'm going to try and export these things. Let's see what happens. Bruise. 2,500. That's far more reasonable for some brows. Let's make them non-brown. Outside, I'm looking in. I can see through you. See your true colors. Inside you're ugly. So I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup here by just selecting some of the brows that are too small and on the perimeter, that they're not really adding anything to this. The more we can get rid of them, and it's geometry we don't need. Okay. I think I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm going to try and crank this up to high quality shading. I just want to see what it looks like once the active shade kicks in. Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. Okay, we'll go back to standard performance here. So let's do, I need to bring his hat in. ZBrush, where did you go? So the reason I need this in here is that if I'm going to be making the hair on his head, then I'm not going to bother making anything under the cap. He's never going to take the cap off. And that'll simplify my life a little bit. Let's turn the brows on. We can see an end goal here. Again, I've got symmetry on. Okay, and then I'm going to go grab his hat really quick and just move it up to the top. Transparency. That. So that's about where his hairline would be. And I don't think I'm going to need anything from there up. So I just want to make sure that the anything that where there would be hair, even if you look at them from underneath like this, does get the hair. 3 steps. Yeah, I'll go through it with you in a bit. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Did you just see the Jeep cast that I was showing? Okay. Maybe a little close to his ear. Okay. And I've got some homework for you, Cass. I got a TV show I want you to watch. Okay, where did you go? Okay, go check Discord, Cass. I sent you a link. And so, yeah, you've got homework. I want you to watch as much of that as you can. That's what the project is based around that. And so, watch as much of that as you can, and I'll give you some concept art to start working on after that. So the nice thing about using fiber mesh a couple of times in a row is that it remembers your previous settings. And so this are the settings that I had for the eyebrows. Now the hair looks a lot more sparse, and that's because the amount of fibers hasn't changed, even though the area has. And so I've got to increase the number of hair in order to start giving me the density that I should be having in this area. And I'm going to try and cheat this even just a little bit more by reducing the number down a little bit further than I actually want it to be. And the reason that I want to reduce it down is, well, geometry. You know, I don't want to go mental with the amount of geometry. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the coverage. And what the coverage does is it starts widening the hairs to make them, well, wider. And so they actually occupy more space. And so if I can get the coverage to a point where it looks like clumpy bits of hair and fills up enough of the volume, then I'll be pleased. And so this is not too bad. Let's see what we can do with this. And again, I've now got a chunk of hair that I'm going to go in and brush groom strong. Actually, let's use the short one for now. And see what I can do here. Let's turn symmetry on. So the idea is to try and paint these down a little bit. Almost like a hairbrush. Definitely getting some weird little warbles in the hair as a result of using symmetry. And so I think what I'll do, I'll switch over to the groom brush here. This is really just like combing hair or brushing hair. And again, I'm gonna have a bunch of this stuff, obviously where the hat is, that you know, could be a little bit better. And as long as I can get it close enough, again, I can delete the ones that are completely hidden. Okay, I think that'll work. Again, I'm going to kind of comb it in behind his ear a little bit. Okay, let's see what I can do with this. And what I might do is, when I get this into max, I may do an ambient occlusion bake on his head. And the reason for that, the ambient occlusion bake, is so that we just don't see as much really bright skin tone underneath. So again, I'm going to swap this over to the darker color. Now, I could probably actually do his entire head this way, but... Again, I want to see it with the ambient occlusion on, so I can see how much shadowing it's actually doing on his head. Yeah, I think it's going to work quite nicely. Now, in order to do my ambient occlusion bake here on this hair, obviously I'm going to have to go and trim some of the stuff that's poking through. That's of little concern. Can't have fuchsia hair. And so I'm just going to go and delete all the little pokey, outy ones. Okay. So we'll delete those. That'll give me a much better look at his hair. I'll just pull some of these guys down a little bit. Now, in order to bake the ambient occlusion, one of the things that I got to do... Hey, Rich. How you doing, pal? One of the things that I've got to do in order to bake that ambient occlusion is that the hair is one-sided. You can actually see it pretty clearly here when we get to the side where you're seeing along the polygon instead of against it. And so when you render this, that one-sided hair... If I get around here, let's look at his sideburn here from underneath. This will illustrate what I'm talking about. So what you're going to see is almost no hair appears. And that's, again, because polygons only have one side. And when you render them, the underside, or the non-normal side, doesn't actually render. And so I do want that side to render. I'm going to try something here, which is, I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we're going to give it a whirl. So I just duplicated his hairs, at least the ones on his head, using symmetry. Not exactly symmetry. I did it with mirror instead of symmetry. But I wasn't liking how sparse the hair was, and so I'm just going to double it. And then we're going to reset the X-form on both these things. And that is exactly what I thought would happen. All my normals got flipped inside out, so we'll flip them back. When you mirror, it mirrors everything, including the normals. And so, mustn't do that. So, we'll just go and attach all the hair. It's not going to give me the greatest silhouette here in the back. I probably would like to go and manipulate those things a little bit. But it's going to give me better coverage on his head, which is just, in the end, is going to look better. So what I'm going to do is just isolate these three meshes. And I'm going to do an ambient occlusion bake. So further to the conversation I had with Bobby, I'm going to go and set this up. So I'm just going to put a skylight here in the world. Grab the character's head. Oh, before I do this, all hair, which I might as well attach together. And that can just be called hair. All the hair is going to need a modifier called shell. And again, it's because there's no backside of it. And I need there to be a backside of it. Now that's way too much shell. And so I'm just going to shell it a very, very small amount so that the planes have a front and back. This is going to ensure that when I do the ambient occlusion bake, that the no matter what side of the hair is facing the head, we're going to get a shadow. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is open the render to texture dialog. Like this. Okay, so enable, I don't want any padding. Cancel. I don't actually want a projection. Existing one, we're going to add a shadows map. There's my shadows map. There you are, shadows map. And I'm going to do this at 4K since everything else I've done is at 4K. This projects, and we're going to go into Cabin in the Woods, character, textures, and head shadows map. Good enough for now. Okay, and then we'll go set the resolution here to 4096. Now this bake's going to take me some time. We'll see how decent my CPU is here. Well, we're going to let that go. Anyway, I'm going to bring that into Photoshop and add it to his base color for his head so that I can just add natural shadowing without relying on the engine to do it. The engine's going to do its own shadowing as well, but I want soft shadowing to exist. And so we'll let that go. And we'll close this because it's unnecessary. The only other bit of hair I've got to do are eyelashes, which are not being included in the bake. They're unnecessary for that. And then, yeah, I think that's going to be it for the kid. Shy of throwing on some kind of a rig and actually getting him walking around in the game. Which isn't actually too hard. I'm just going to grab all the animations from White Robot Guy for now. And hopefully, if there's time down the road, get better animations on the kid. I don't think he's going to look very good with the White Robot animations. They're not very nice. You know what I might do? Go see if I can lift the animations from one of the Paragon characters. I don't know that anybody's got the right kind of animation that I would want, but I have all the content from when Epic was giving it out, and library down here. I don't think anybody's going to have the right build and walk for the kid to look natural, but it couldn't hurt to have a gander. So they start here. Yeah, I don't think any of these guys are gonna look good. I think the kid's just too small and masculine. Had I made a female character, I might have been able to use Shinbi or Yin on him, but yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to get anything out of this. Well, okay then. That is of no use to me. I still got absolutely nothing in this render. Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Okay, so in terms of what else I need to do, I've got about 15 or so totems to make. And cluttering the basement, just getting enough crap in there that it feels busy and full. And I think I actually want to do some of that before I place any of the totems in there. Just so that it feels a little bit more like the totems were thrown in. You know, that they're kind of they're additions to a cluttered basement and, you know, not the focal point of each shelf kind of thing. So we'll see how that works. Okay. Come on now. Render. Render faster. I finally got a little bit of something right here. It's going to slow down as it moves down, obviously, as it starts getting into the shadowing from his hair and everything like that. Let's crack open the project and go see how we're doing. This is an Unreal project called Cabin in the Woods. I'll go see if my save file's in there. Get rid of that. Okay. Come on. Either you open or you finish rendering. I haven't actually looked at the basement since the last live stream, so 4 days, 5 days. Yeesh. Why is that not compiling now? There we go, compiled. There we go. Get ready, cause this is war. That should be black too. Get ready, cause this is war. Okay. Oh, I gotta finish that hard hat too. I keep putting that off. Okay, you know what I'll do? This guy needs a better home. It was only placed there temporarily, and it needs someplace better to go. So the whole thing with this gimmick, with this gag, is that there's a collision sphere here that when you touch it, this thing pedals and moves on its own. The problem with that is that, well, even where I have it right now, on occasion, a player can walk by it like this, trigger it, and not know that it's moved or that it's gone and done something. And so I would like to put it somewhere where no matter what, you're going to see it go off. Now, the problem with this is that every path through here, every corridor, every little tunnel, every little area that you can go to has an entrance from both sides. And as a result, you can actually always trigger that thing from the back. So if I put it here so it goes that way, I can always come from the back and that'll trigger it. And again, you'll miss it. The only option I have is to put it in a place like this where it's kind of actually blocking. You know, if I've got a tunnel where no matter what, you know, I've got a spawn point back here. But if I move that spawn point away from there, say over here, and then I put something here that will limit how thick this passageway is, so that you touch the thing, it scoots off, and then actually opens up another entranceway. That might be a way of going about doing this. Maybe I'll do that. Let's go and look at the mega scans. I thought I brought in... I want to make a cardboard box too. That's the bench that's there. I don't want to use that. Beam. Barrel. Wooden ammo crate. So what if I... Whoa. It's not at all where I wanted that to go. But what if I had something like this? And if I don't belong... Okay, and I do this. So there's a very narrow kind of way in here. I don't think that's actually the bin that I wanted. I guess not. But yeah, I don't want to use this mesh because there's one right there. Maybe we'll go take a look. The bridge. I need something kind of that shape. Coffin shape. Coffin. And so if I can do that, if I can get me something kind of long and skinny like that. Looks like they did a lot of snow scanning, which is really cool. It's not bad. How big is that? Oh, it's big. Oh, that'll work. Let's grab that guy. How big is that one? That's long and skinny too. Tuesday's gone with the wind. God damn it. Go up. There you are. Doom doom. Okay. So this guy should be more along the lines of what I want. So what I'll do is just rotate it 180. Tuesday's gone with the wind. That's the chest, which I know I've got a couple of them in here already. Put one here. Where's the opening side? That's the back. This over here. That's the trowel. Now I don't want to cut that off. Move this all up here. Make sure I've still got enough of an opening there. So there we go. Now I'm just going to make sure that when the trike goes this way, this one does need to have an angle snap on it. So I can ensure that it's going to go the right way. There. Let's see how that works. So it's going to work better when there's collision. Okay, and I can still get back here. Which is good. Okay, so collision. What the hell, man? Okay, well, that's better. Now I can actually put some shit in here. Make it feel fuller and busier again. I can put some stuff in here too. I like the idea of that. It blocks too much. Maybe what I'll do is do one of them this way. That. Just to make it feel a little bit more chaotic. If that's the right word. So that's getting there. Okay. So that is going to work a lot better. I'm happy with that. I think I'm going to rig the system. And I'm going to rig the system by adding a few more totems that already exist in here. And it's because I would like more students to do this particular creature than any other. And so by kind of stacking the deck, as it were, and putting a few more of these things in the world, I'm hoping to make it a little bit more likely that a student picks one of these things up. Which would, in turn, make it so that there are more students doing this one particular creature over anything else. And I may do this with a couple of other creatures as well. But this creature here is one that I definitely think would be better if more students did this. And so we're gonna rig the game a little bit. Just so that there are a few instances of this mesh around and people end up hopefully being drawn to it on more than one place. You're just having a nap over there. That's good. Okay. So yeah, I was quite pleased with how cluttered this started getting. There was one shelf left. It still could use a little bit of clutter. How's that bake doing? And get rid of this. That's not the right software. That's the right software. Okay. So that'll keep going. Okay, let's save all. Come on, come on, come on. I want to get this freaking kid done. Again, the downside of baking anywhere that's not Substance Painter is this. It takes forever. So without adding any new content, just updating the meshes, finishing what's in here, I think I'm at a point where this is about done. You know, I've got to obviously get to a point where there's enough clutter in here. I never ended up making windows. I made the outdoor coverings, but there's actually no window in there. And I may have to do that at some point. I might put the hard hat here too. There's 3 hats on one hook. And I wanted to make a metal shelf too. You know what? I'm overly fascinated with this thing's arse. I don't know why I pointed at arse first. I can do that. I'm gonna take a look at some shelving here. Metal garage shelves. So what I'd like to avoid are these ones here with all the holes in them. Because again, I don't want to use transparency, and that's going to be hell of expensive to do that with geometry. But if I can find something that'll work, I mean, that's kind of what I have is the 2x4 built one. Nothing really else jumping out at me. They all seem to have the same kind of holes. Okay, how about wall shelving? Wondering if I don't just make something like this that I can put in several places. Occupy space on the walls. Again, most of the walls are pretty empty. And so if I made, 2 or 3 foot long shelf that I could put in several places, I think that would help add to the clutter. I think so. Let's go check on Max again here. Everything from this point down is black. Always raised in. I might as well let it finish. I was going to cancel it and just paint the rest in Photoshop. Because again, it's just a strip of black that I need to put down here. But it's this far along. It's all over for, and now the world is done. It's all over for. Always wasted. Nothing you giving in. It's all over for. On the edge and falling off. And now the dance is done. Who have to run? It's killing me, man. Just finish already. How are you guys doing? How's everybody in there? Are we having fun? You guys working on stuff? Am I background noise? Render done. Job's done. Okay, let's go see. Let's go see what we got. And now the debt is done. It's all. Oh. What chapter are you on? Where are you, Rich? What chapter are you on? It's all over. It's all over for. If your death is good, still you wonder why. And now you're dead inside, still you wonder why. Good, man. I'm glad you got it going. Is there any third-party UV packaging outside of Maya? Yeah. I mean, there are tons of other places you can go to do that. Unfold 3D, Unrella. There's tons of them. I like her so much better when she's down on her knees. That's when I'm starting to see. I don't disagree. It's all the same. Although, dude, if you're in level 2, if you're in chapter 2, you haven't seen most of the game, right? There's 18 chapters. You won't change me, the bitch came back. Very next day, yo, the bitch came back. Thought she was a goner, but the bitch came back. She wouldn't stay away. Yeah, I don't agree with that decision that was made, but it is what it is. But that's the only freaking way she'll leave me alone. The problem with girls is they're never enough. And they never shut up. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Don't tell me, bitch came back. Very next day, oh, the bitch came back. Thought she was a goner, but the bitch came back. Couldn't stay away. Don't you know the bitch came back? I don't mean it. Look who's laughing now. I think it was. I think that's the problem I had. Is that they try to encourage going out of bounds, but there's also invisible walls everywhere, which kind of those two things fight each other, right? Like pick one. The bitch came back very next day. Oh, the bitch came back. Thought she was a goner, but the bitch came back. She won't stay the fuck away. The bitch came back the very next day. Oh, the bitch back. Thought she was a goner. She doesn't mean it. Bitch came back very next day. Oh, the bitch came back. Thought she was a goner, but the bitch came back. Don't you know the bitch came back? Okay. Let's go to the kid. Re-importing this should give me an error of I don't know where the file is. Nope, you knew where the file was. Import with a new file. Excuse me. Go take a look at what this does to his head. Well, that's good. Good. That's kind of what I was after. Silent scream we take. All the feelings that I get. No, no DLC. No, that was not. That wasn't something I think we ever discussed doing. And as a result, it's not in the works. It's not something we got on the go. And so, yeah. If there was DLC, I would absolutely be working on it. Every year we take, every feeling that I get. Only when I stop to think about it. I gotta put something on his hat. I need an emblem for his hat. I haven't decided what his hat was gonna be yet. About you, do you know? Okay, I think everything else works. Love me. It was neat talking to the other guys at the studio today, because for a few of them, this is their first physical copy game. Well, they've made a bunch of games. For many of them, this was actually the first time that they're going to get a game that is something in the hole in their hands, which is a pretty magical thing. Okay, so I got the kid in here now. Now it's just a matter of assigning some materials to him. Character Scott. Head. Let's. There's his arm. Pants, shirt, belt, shoes, eyes, head. Head. Yeah. Good. We didn't really tune the game to be played with mouse and keyboard, Rich. It can be done, but we didn't do any tuning for that. And so you're going to find it, my friend, very, very not fun if you go down that route. This guy is this guy. I'm gonna change the kid's hair. Other than Raging Bunny and Fuchsia, what other hair colors here? I make him blonde. A ginge, eh? I think I'm gonna go kind of dirty blonde. I need to tweak my my settings here too. His hair's too shiny. Yeah, that was something we talked about, Rich. In terms of whether or not we would go down that route. And to be honest, I don't know why we didn't. Okay. I think that's all the materials from this area. Go back up here. We got pants, a shirt, shirt, shoes. Okay, so the only thing I'm missing are his eyes. Bum ba da da dum. Ooh. I am getting a nasty UV seam down the back of his neck. His arms look a little pale to me, too. Yeah. That just might be the SSS. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, the backscatter's a little strong. I forget where I put that. There it is. Needs to be rough. It's not. You crashed the game? Oh, you crashed in chapter 2, right? Yeah, there's a crash in chapter 2. I don't know. Are you still in chapter 2? My wife found a crash in chapter 2. What were you doing, Rich? How did you crash it? Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Welcome to the show. Okay. I think the kid's gonna work. I just gotta get him rigged. I gotta put a texture on his hat too. I just want to go look at him in a couple of the places to see what he's gonna look like lit. Actually, I think I might go darker with his hair. The blonde is getting a little too close to the skin tone. Welcome to the show. Glad you came around. Please come inside. You found Wanda, did ya? Man, that specular is so strong. Okay. So if I'm pleased with a kid, let's see if we can swap him out for the playable mesh here. The one thing I need before I die. All I need. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to use Mixamo here because I'm not a rigger nor an animator. And this is going to give me the quickest, easiest rig solution. And it would be nice to have a very casual walk that I could use instead of the one that's in the game. But I gotta tell you, man, these walks look freaking terrible. Like even the one that they call walking, like it's so purposeful. Just walk in place, dude. It's just so purposeful that like that's not gonna look like a kid wandering around in a scary basement. And so, you know, it would be much better to have an animation that fits that. Instead of so instead of walking so forceful. However, cool, Chris. Sounds like it's going your way, pal. See, injured walking not be that bad. I mean, it's a little rough to have him always holding his arm. Anyway, let me see what I can do with my character here. So we're gonna go Cabin in the Woods, character AFBX, and kid. Well, it's not that he's supposed to be injured. It's just that he's supposed to be... He's not a hero, right? He shouldn't have a heroic walk. And so I wouldn't mind a scared walk. But we'll see. We'll see how this works out. I'll upload my guy. And we'll see how this works. Belong here, yeah. It's your fucking nightmare. Bono, bono. Feel. You'd not have known. So we'll see how well this works on the kid. Odds are I'm going to have to clean it up. Mixamo never does a good job. But we'll see what I can find in terms of a scaredy walk. Boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. 391 different animations show up when I do a search for walk. Okay. Looks like we're going to get some results here. And now it's just a matter of finding what animation I really want to use. If what is this? Sad walk. I mean, it's so over-exaggerated with the slumping. Now your nightmare comes to life. Let's see if there's a scared. Yeah. It's your fucking nightmare. See, this isn't bad. I guess it's really slow. Exactly what I'm going for. It's what you're hearing. It's what you hear and listen. It's what you hear and listen. They all have so little personality. I always just give him a gun. My head, I hung my head. Mm. I hung my head, I hung my head, hung my head, I hung my head. I think standard walk. I'm going to try two of them. I'll try walking. He's doing something really weird with his right foot. It doesn't point forward. I don't really know what he's doing with his hands. That's probably the best one. Okay. Let's go to 3ds Max and delete him. And I'm going to need put him in this folder. Include. Okay. So the wrists are broken. That'll need some fixing. Let's fix this. Yeah, that works. Do the same thing in the other one. Lord help me, I can't. I don't think I want the kid to do that, Christian. As creepy as that would be. The kid's supposed to be the one who's normal here. Okay, something's getting out of whack here. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Well, that shouldn't be there. Okay. So the only other thing that I want to check here is the depth at which his feet are passing into the ground. And the reason I got to tweak this is that when I modeled the character, he was modeled barefoot, and I added the shoes to him. And so the shoes added height negatively into the ground. And so ideally, I would be able to take my rig. If I find the rootmost node, I might have to actually do this from the schematic view. And that is, I did grab the right rig, or the right node. No. This node. That direction. Up. Yeah, now he's on the ground. Okay. Grab everything and export it again. Export selected. Okay, we'll call this walk. And now, we bring him in. Skeletal mesh, import mesh, geometry and weights, no skeleton, it's gonna make my own. Okay. Okay. If he has a kid, I'm going to take my other version of the kid that I made, where all the materials are assigned, and I'm just going to reassign them. And they should be in the same order. Hey, hey! You found your first sibling. Still no material for his hat. We'll have to work that out. You've become... Okay. So there's my mesh. There's the walk. No, they're siblings, Rich. Terry is trying to find his siblings. Bastard, you will do what you deserve. Oh. I might need an idle animation too. Lay down. Hold me down. I'm gonna grab a Mixamo idle as well. No, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna debate what I'm gonna do here with this. I think what I'm gonna do is just replace the system that's there. There's too much going on in their system for me to try and recreate it from scratch. And so what I'm going to do is I need an idle animation. I think what I might try and do is retarget the kid and see if that works. So to do this, you open up your asset. And is it in animation? No one saves me even younger than. No, it's in here. Create asset, preview animation. Somewhere. Options. Show retargeting options. And then, are you with me? Are you me now? You were inside your head too long. Okay, I think I gotta do it in the third person guy. Are you with me? Okay, retargeting options. No, that's not what I wanted at all. I don't remember how to do this. Are you with me? Are you with me now? UE manage skeleton. It's the skeleton I want. Retarget manager. That's what I want. Click save. Okay, so I need my skeleton. And retarget manager here. And I'm going to use humanoid rig here. Yeah. Now I got to set this up. Hips. Spine 1. Spine 2. And I'm back. Okay, I think that's right. Okay. Walk, jump, idle. So we're going to retarget this, duplicate it. Huh. I'd say that something might have gone wrong. Though I'm not an animator. I'm not an animator, but I don't think this is the look I'm going for. What's he looking at? Why is he looking up? Also, why did his fingers go all gimpy? So this may not work the way I wanted it to work. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that animation, I think. Because it is the stuff of nightmares. How long you been here, Rick? Ricardo? I'm still getting a really ugly UV seam along the back of his neck. You can see it right there. Okay, so I think the way I'm going to have to do this is to grab a Mixamo idle. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to retarget. It's not going to work as nicely as I'd like it to. And so what I'll do is grab an idle animation. Oh, I remembered my guy was here. Lovely. Lovely. That's lovely. It's not exactly an idol. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab that one. I don't need the skin. This is just the animation I need. Okay, projects. Cabin in the Woods, character. FBX. Idle. Okay. So this is kind of the trickiest part of this whole thing, is to replace their character with mine in a way that doesn't destroy what's there. Because I need to be able to reuse what's there when I break my own shit. Okay, so I have a walk animation here. I only need 2 animations, which is going to be the walk and the idle. So I'm going to bring this one in. I'm going to go on the walk skeleton and import. And we should have the idle in here now. I think it's going to be okay. His hands aren't too gimpy. What I need to do now is to create a 2D blend. And the 2D blend is what's going to allow the walk to speed up and slow down based off input on a thumbstick. Now, if you're actually choosing WASD in a keyboard, this has very little effect. but it is still of use. Where are you? Blend space 1D. Okay. Pick the skeleton. And it's the walk skeleton. This is going to be walk, idle, blend, 1D. And in here, I can go and pull my animations in here down into this area. So we're going to grab the idle, and I'm going to put the idle at 0 in terms of speed, like so. And the walk animation, I'll put here. Walks a little sideways. But anyway, that's all there is to that. Okay, let's save all since it's a lot of shit I've done. And let's go start ripping this guy apart and swapping in my own stuff here. So, under mesh, zombie hides my face. We're gonna swap this guy out. Won't let that, eh? That's what I wanted. Oh, he's called Walk, isn't he? Walk, skeletal mesh. Won't let go till it bleeds. Okay, so now he'll walk around in a T-pose, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So now what I need to do is make my animation blueprint work. And if I go and check out this guy, he's got an animation blueprint. Event graph. All that's going to stay the same. Those are the animations. So I think I just got to reproduce this, and I should be good to go. So I'm going to move that over to the other window, where I can observe as I reproduce. I'll go back to character. Close my eyes. Animation blueprint. Walk skeleton. I believe in you. I believe. That's what I want. Kid. Anim. BP. Oh. Let's try that again. Animation blueprint. I believe in you. Anim instance. This should be anim bp underscore kid. In the eyes. Let's start with the event graph. Oh. Don't need that. This will go in here. Compile that. Is in air and speed. Okay, those guys are good. This. Not what I want. Get pose. Okay, idle run. This goes in here. I feel so Whoa. Jumpstart. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. And don't do that. Player can't jump anyway. Where's my state machine? I should have known better than to cheat a friend. Okay. So now we grab our fella here. Animation blueprint. And we should be... Damn it. I have to fix that. Okay, so I definitely got to affect his speed now. Because he's moving too quickly for the walk that the kid has. Then to cheat a friend. Well, the problem with the first chapter is that it's meant to just introduce you to the game, right? Which is kind of a big deal. Like, we don't want to overburden players with learning too much in the first chapter. Idle state speed. Okay, that's that guy. My speed is set to 0. That's the speed from there. That sets the speed. Well, in the first chapter, the mechanic that you're learning is just rolling a Scully, right? Chapter 2, you learn the strong form, and so on. And they kind of keep building on that, right? Okay. What am I doing? Player speed. Settings. Project settings. Walk. Okay, I've completely forgotten where the walk speed is. Okay. Character movement. Max walk speed, 310. Let's put that in half. That's a really ugly walk cycle. That's an issue. He's too stiff in the upper body. I think I gotta slow the mouse speed down too. Where's my animation blueprint? Let me go back in here. capsule height is too big now. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, there's a, in here, the camera is on something called a boom. And the boom is just a stick that the camera's on. And the nice thing about that is that you can put lag on it. So I can enable camera lag. Right now the lag is 10 seconds. Give that a whirl. Don't know how much time has passed. And so what this will do is it'll actually allow me to move the camera at a different rate than the kid. I might have to increase it a little bit more. Let's go to 50. It's going to be more. Oh, it's rotation lag I want. Let's put that back. Paper dolls and little notes. You can expect a bit of votes. So there. Now there's some lag on the mouse, which feels a little bit better. But I still got to slow the mouse down. It still has the ability of really cranking it around. Oh. I'm an idiot. I already knew that. Forever feels like home, sitting all alone. Move forward. What am I looking for? Input axis. Move right, move forward, turn. I don't want that. Float times float. Just lie to you, yeah, yeah. Looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. Like forever. Forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. Okay. That's way better. I could even probably go slower. I think I'm going to have to enlist... I'm going to have to enlist the help of someone to do the animation for me, as I am definitely not happy with the level of animation for Mixo. It's ugly, man. It doesn't fit everything else that's here. I know that kid. Where's my boom? Yeah, I think I'm going to be okay with that. I got that again. I don't want that. I don't want that. Yeah, it's one of the downsides of using Mixamo animations. I don't like the hair material either. Whoa. Mouse is really screwy. Yeah, he's very, very rigid in this walk. Yeah, I can totally click and drag. I gotta put a lag or a delay in there so that doesn't happen. So that actually worked quite nicely. No worries, Michael. It's beautiful. The email came in exactly as it was supposed to. There was something a little funny going on here. Level blueprints. That's not it. Hmm. Oh, forgiveness me from you. Oh, that's why. Here I stand. Oh, okay, system works again. Yash isn't here, is he? Yash, are you here? I don't want to tweak the movement anymore until I get proper animation in here. I am not pleased with the Mixamo stuff. It's ugly as sin, man. It's so rough and rigid. Like the kid barely looks like he's moving. You know, swinging his arms, but like his head is not moving. His hips aren't moving. There's no indication of weight whatsoever. I just realized I've got 2 jump scares here, which I don't think works very well. Losing control. Okay, I'm going to try and fix this camera bug where when I click on something, if I click and drag, I can move the object from its rotation point, which is not what I want to have happen. It should just pop up in the center like that. I was able to rotate it right off screen, which is terrible. And so I've got to go dig into my character here to do this. Kicking myself in the teeth. Man, this is killing me. It's almost done, though. Do 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 do. Losing no soul. Okay. think it's in disable mouse cursor. Fly. It is not. Okay. That's take item. Oh, I wanna be inside of you. And then here I stand. Oh, no. I wanna be inside. Losing the soul. Down in a hole. Feeling my soul. Down in a hole. Feeling to fall. I'd like to fly. Fly. Huh. Let me break that for a second. See. I think I can actually skip this. I'm just looking at it. That doesn't actually do anything. Chapter 8, you're stuck. What are you stuck with? What is the problem? You over yet? And the more I see the rest on mine. Over yet. Big man rank. So sacrifice yourself. You're trying to get way up high, yeah? Try going back to the Claypool Rich and making another body. So you have 2 lift guys. Wow, dude, that is a classic. Is it over yet? And me and... a fire in my eyes. Oh, where my heart would be. Yeah. Right out of me. No. Are you in, Scully? Or are you new? Are you new? You in one of the bodies? Da do dum. Mm. Hmm. I haven't encountered that. Baby, you're not meant to be. One and two steps back. Step back. And that's what I'm looking for. Turn rate. And baby, you're meant to be. Ba-da-ba-doo. Time's a ways to go. Down, where you going for tomorrow? Where you gone when the mask are found? Do, 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 do. It's the only set. The master found. It's gotten worse. I got time to wait for tomorrow. It's this guy here. All right, I think I'm done looking at this. My brain's going in circles. That's enough of that. So I think what I'm going to need to do is get a proper rig set on this kid so I can get proper animation set on this kid so that I can make him look not so stupid when he's in the actual system. And I've got to fix that camera. It moves way too quickly so that when I pick up an object, it's able to go way off screen. And so even if I could just get to a point where I can add a delay to the spawning of the new object, so it doesn't just spawn it instantly quick, I think that might be a way of doing it. But yeah, those are the next tasks I gotta plot out. And so yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys, and we'll see you again mañana.